Hi everybody, it's Mark, and this is episode 10 of Minecraft Stoneblock. I am in our mob farm, and still have only two sides configured, and I think after today that may be all we need, because, as you can see, our Witchwater experiment paid off, and we have plenty of drops of evil. So, I've gone ahead and replaced all the stone under those vector plates with earth, dirt, and they're ready to go. All I need to do is touch them with a drop of evil and they should start producing a lot of mobs as soon as the lights go off. I also made this little Witchwater activator. If we look around the corner here, if you remember, we had a little trench dug in there in the mob grinder that was filled with Witchwater. I just moved it over here. I have a piston here that's extended. This is a redstone conduit that is connected to that lever over there, and the lever's currently off, so the torch is keeping the piston extended, which is holding the Witchwater back. And I've just sealed this off to keep light out, and I'm going to actually put another slab here because we are leaking a little light there. So if I go back over here and hit this lever, you can look here, you can see, you can't see any Witchwater, you can just see the edge of the piston there. But if I hit this, you can see very clearly there, that's Witchwater flowing across this channel. So it's going to give us wither skeletons and cave spiders and the uber creepers produced when a creeper hits Witchwater. What are they called? Anyhow, so we have that available as an option. We can switch it off and on as will, and that's nice to have. Not necessary, but nice to have. So I've got 4 drops of evil because I have that channel there. It's going to require just a little bit of extra. I am going to hit that dirt, that dirt, that dirt. And you can hear that all transformed almost instantly. I'm going to seal this hole up. And do I have another vector plate? I think I have another vector plate somewhere. I think all I'm going to do is just break that. It's going to glide down there probably and get picked up. I'll hit this. And you can see that transformation run down there. Seal that off. Oh. I did add a couple spikes up on the roof. That is primarily just to keep spiders off the roof. And, you know, Endermen will run into that with their head since they're 3 tall. It shouldn't really matter. We should still get plenty of drops from the mob grinder. I just want to keep spiders off the ceiling because they're annoying. And they survive after the lights come on. So I come around here and I turn off the lights and turn on the grinders. You can see we're immediately... why is that light not on? Did I do that backwards? Well, that's interesting. Not sure what that zombie is sticking on. Maybe he's just sticking in that little trench. I think eventually they will get killed. But you can hear in the background that we're creating a lot of mobs. I don't know why this is showing as lit. It is clearly not lit. So, we have a much more efficient mob grinder now. Oh, I know what it is. There's a tunnel up here that I left the light on probably. Yeah, I have some redstone wiring in the ceiling, so that is probably where the light is coming from. And if we want to turn on the Witchwater, we can. And that should start giving us wither skeletons again if we want them. I don't really care about them right now because we have plenty of drops of evil. So if we go down and look at our our storage area, we can see that we're getting a ton of stuff now. Wow. Frames per second are just tanking here for some reason. And I'm not sure why. There's nothing over there that should cause that. So let's look at what's coming through. This is just the junk that's unfiltered. What we should be seeing is a lot of armor building up. And I'm surprised we're not. I'm going to pull out a couple things that I dropped in there accidentally. That is odd. I'm surprised we're not getting a ton of stuff. Well, there's some heads, some gunpowder. I am not seeing any armor, which I kind of expected to get because all the mobs that are generated on Cursed Earth, they usually have armor. And I'm not filtering that anywhere. Wonder if those iron spikes are causing a problem. Now, while we're down here, we can go over here and look at our rice supply. After changing things around, you can see that we're on the upswing on rice. We were down to, I think, 5 stacks last time we were here. So we're up to 10 stacks now, so that we're net positive on rice, and that should help our energy supply out for a while. But I am curious what is going on with our mob farm and why we're not getting any armor. Not that I'm truly complaining because I don't really want the armor, but I do want to make sure that everything is actually dropping. Let's turn on the lights. How odd. Okay, I'm going to go in here. Just take a look on the floor real quick. Ooh, it's on. I don't really want to mess with the witch water. Turn that off real fast. Well, there's nothing sitting around on the floor, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these. Spiders aren't that big a deal. It's this one. I really don't want to run into the mob grinder because that will hurt. Alright. Let's turn these back on and see what we get. And to really monitor this, let's just go down to this crate is where all our loot should be coming through. Yeah, it's strange that we're not getting more in the way of armor. But we're getting a decent number of drops, and I think that's going to pick up the speed for all our stuff overall, which is a good thing. I'm not seeing any loot bags either. Let's see if we can get any loot bags. Nope. Alright, let's turn these back on and see what we get. And to really monitor this, let's just go down to this crate is where all our loot should be coming through. Yeah, it's strange that we're not getting more in the way of armor. But we're getting a decent number of drops, and I think that's going to pick up the speed for all our stuff overall, which is a good thing. I'm not seeing any loot bags either. All right, let's see. We have 2,200 loot bags in there. I'm going to go away for a while and let that run. See what we end up with. There is that weird frame drop again. That has just started happening. I don't know what's causing it. I mean, that's a relatively long look, but it shouldn't do that. It should be working in both directions. Okay. So last time we did a little bit of applied energistics work. We created an inscriber, we made some cables, and we sort of did some basic quests. We have our inscriber presses ready to go. So the rest of this episode, I'm going to go ahead and set up some automation. So let me go away and make some parts for that, and I'll be back in a minute. So I had a little bit of a sidetrack here. We need Certus quartz and Fluix crystals for most of the AE2 stuff we're going to do. And if we look at Certus quartz, for example, there's a lot of ways to get it from ore and random items and sifting dust. But that's about it, except you can also craft it from essences, and we know how to get essences. And looking a little further, Fluix crystals are about the same. So I've gone ahead, and these are tier 4 seeds, so I had to grind through just a ton of inferium to prudentium to intermedium to superium essences. I think I did about 2,000. If you want to look, you can see our infusion crystal is about ready to die, and I'm going to make a master crystal, which doesn't wear out soon, to make these. So we have some Fluix crystals growing, and we have over here, I did these the other day, somewhere, there they are, there's some Certus seeds growing. So we will get Certus and Fluix crystals. All I have to do is make another of those RF Tools crafters and set it up with the recipe back in our little auto crafting area, and we'll be good to go. But it's going to take a while to accumulate some, and we're really low on Fluix, so I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do. I do, however, want to show you, you'll notice this harvester isn't running, and there's a weird block next to it. I went ahead and turned on redstone for this because they were running a lot and they weren't doing much because these, growth rate isn't spectacular for all these crops. So what I did is I created I built a few of these redstone clocks from Cyclic also, and I'm starting to really like this mod actually. So what they do is they give you an on pulse, which is this 155 ticks, and then they give you an off cycle, which is this 2400, which is, 2 minutes? So every 2 minutes they're going to run for, I think that ends up being about 10 seconds. Not quite. Which is about the time it takes the harvester to run one harvest cycle. So basically they're just sitting there and waiting for the harvester. And that 2 minutes of downtime gives all the plants time to grow, so they're not just wasting cycles. And I need to make sure that's area 7x7 and redstone, and that is set up. I just wanted to make sure I had configured that one. So we're saving energy by not harvesting as often, and it really is not going to matter a whole lot. I've done that, I think. Yeah, I hit all the harvesters, and they're all configured pretty much the same. So you can see that one just harvested, so the crops are regrowing. It'll be a pretty full harvest when it finally runs. And this is the same way. So that's what I did between episodes just to increase the efficiency of our power consumption, which probably is also helping out with our rice shortage, because we're not using as much power to keep those harvesters running. They're our main power drag right now. And you can see we're up to 11 stacks already. So I'm going to see if we have any essences, Fluix essences showing up back here so I can configure the crafter form. Yeah, we have a few. We have Superium Essence, which I can go ahead and... This is Intermedium, so that's Superium. Do we have any Intermedium? We do not. Let me just go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and make one of these just so I can lock that drawer down. And all these essence crafts are the same, which is why I'm not doing them on camera. They're really kind of tedious, and until we get auto crafting, you just have to sit there and do a bunch of them. So most common to least common, and then there's actually two more. There's Supremium and Insanium, which is actually from a separate mod. Insanium Essence is from Mystical Agra Additions, and you can use this to make some insane crafting recipes. Let me find... Yeah, you have Nether Star Seeds, Dragon Egg Seeds, and the Awakened Draconium. If you remember back in like episode 1 or 2, we got that Awakened Draconium Crux. That is what you use. These seeds, you plant, you put dirt below it, and then you put the crux below the dirt, and the plant will grow. So you can't use these seeds without that crux, which is why I was so happy to get it, because Draconium is good to have. Since we're looking at resources, let me go look at chickens quickly. Oops. And you can see I've sort of rounded out most of the metal chickens. And these are all a stack of 16 10, 10, 10 chickens, so they're cranking out resources pretty quickly. And the roost, which I had to move, is picking up all the resources and shuffling it down into our storage system. I also made coal chickens and glowstone chickens, and I think I have diamond chickens. Oh, I've got orange chickens, which are done. I have a lot of orange chickens. I don't remember what I was making with those. And we have diamond chickens that are probably... Yeah, we've got 10, 10, 10s back there. So the orange chickens were for a breeding project. So let me see. Oops, those are junk. Let me see what I can make with these. Oh, rubber chickens. Rubber is another problem we're going to run into, and I was kind of planning ahead. There's no way to get rubber saplings in Stoneblock. If we look at rubber, we can get rubber essence, but the rubber tree sapling, you can use it in a bonsai pot, but there's no way to get a rubber tree sapling. It doesn't show up in loot bags. It doesn't show up in any other form. So I am going to make some rubber chickens just to kickstart our... Remember, we have the rule that we can only use chickens for things we can sift. But I'm going to kickstart our rubber production by getting some rubber essence using rubber seeds. Oh, I'm going to get some rubber using chickens so I can make the rubber seeds and then switch to using the rubber seeds to make all our rubber. So that will become important later. We could do plastic. You can do plastic from industrial foregoing, but you have to make a latex processor, and it's a slow process, and I kind of wanted to sidestep this playthrough, so I'm just going to do the rubber chickens and get that going. Anyhow, so that's where we are. I'm going to go away again and wait for some Fluix. Oh, we may as well set up the Fluix processing. This is chicken, so I need to go downstairs. Do we have enough here? There it is. So this is the same thing we've done before. You can see this is the Certus quartz production, and you can see 3 Certus quartz is stacking up pretty quickly. And that's a pretty simple recipe. I don't remember the Fluix recipe. The other thing I discovered is I can do this remember, and then apply it again and remember, and apply it again and remember. It's a little tedious to do this, but this just ensures that we're not going to get any any stray items in our inventory that we don't need for processing. So remember, and I need to look at the Fluix crystal. Fluix crystal recipe is a circular pattern, so we can just do this. And we want to keep, and we want to send the output to the external, and we apply that, and we should just have to, we're extract always active. If we insert, if we have any more Fluix, we probably don't. But this will start making Fluix crystals for us. And we already have those in the storage system. We don't have a storage drawer for the Fluix essence, though, because it ends up in here, which means it never gets to this drawer controller. So I'm going to do that, and those essences should disappear pretty quickly. Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, there they go. Okay, so they just got sucked out into the processing system over there. So I'm going to go away again because we need to wait for some more Fluix to show up. As you can see back here, we have none. So I have a little bit in a chest, but that's not enough to do what I want to do. So I'm going to let resources accumulate for a while and do some other things. And I'll be back in a bit. Okay, we are back. And as you can see, I've put together a bit of a machine here. This is just a test setup, really, because these Applied Energistics 2 inscribers are not particularly easy to automate, but I went ahead and made as many as we're going to need because I'm going to make the upgraded, where are they? The advanced inscribers from AE2 stuff, which use regular inscribers in the recipe, but we need to make a bunch of processors to do that. But the advanced inscriber is easier to automate because it actually is a little smarter. These have really limited inputs and outputs, and they have sidedness that's confusing at best, and you can only put one thing in each slot at a time. So I'm going to start at the easy end. This is just an energy acceptor. It converts power from our flux point into the power that AE2 uses. And you need one of these in any AE2 system just to feed it power. I went ahead and made a smart cable here just so we can monitor the dreaded channels. And as you can see, this is using 0 channels because none of these blocks require channels, they just need power. And it also shows that these blocks all transmit power through each other. So we only really need one cable here. I also made from AE2 stuff, the crystal growth chamber, which sort of shortcuts the creation of pure Fluix and pure Certus quartz. Normally you have to drop the seeds that make these into a pool of water, and if it's surrounded by growth crystals or growth accelerators, it speeds up the growth, but it's a really slow process. This is a much faster way to grow crystals, and to make the seeds is pretty easy. You just take Fluix dust, which is a crushed Fluix crystal, and a piece of sand, and that gives you 2 seeds, so we're effectively doing doubling. And we do the same thing with Certus quartz, and we stick these seeds in here, and they immediately start to grow, and you can see that they grow fairly quickly. You know, it's not super fast. We can actually put acceleration cards in here and it becomes much faster. But we don't really care about this right now. I just wanted to show you how it worked so you could get an idea of what this block is. The next thing we're doing is we need to make processors. And to make processors, you start with silicon, gold, pure Certus quartz, diamond, and redstone. And you use these ingredients to make the printed circuits. And there's one for each type of processor that we end up making, plus printed silicon. And printed silicon is sort of the base material for all these things. So to show you how that works, all you do is we have our press in the top slot. We stick the raw material in the middle slot. And again, we can accelerate these, but I'm going to make the advanced version, so it's not worth it at this point. And we get our printed silicon out of that. We get our printed logic circuit out of this. We get our printed calculation circuit out of pure Certus quartz crystal. And you do have to use the pure crystal here, I believe. I don't think you can actually use the... let me see. Yeah, see, you have to use the pure Certus quartz crystal here. And then diamond gives us the printed engineering circuits. So these are not finished products. The next step is we put a piece of redstone in, we put the printed silicon in the bottom slot, and we put the circuit in the top slot, and this mashes them all together to give us our logic processor. I went ahead and made 3 separate inscribers here because when we automate this process, we sort of want this step to be completely separate, so in the automation it doesn't get confused. And that is pretty much where we're at today. So that gives us the basic building blocks we need to make a bunch more AE2 stuff. And by AE2 stuff, I mean all the components of AE2, not necessarily the mod AE2 stuff. So this gives us also a bunch of quests, which we should turn in because there's also a bunch of quests ready to go for various mystical agriculture bits. Nothing there. Nothing there. Yeah, you can see I went ahead and made this master infusion crystal, which took a lot of inferium. I think it ended up being, I don't know, 2,000 plus inferium, all doing combines. I broke my original infusion crystal and made a new one, and it used part of that. But the master infusion crystal never breaks, so it's an infinite... basically lets us do infinite combines, which is a good thing because we want to automate that process as soon as possible. It's just tedious. So, we were turning in quests. So let's go ahead and keep doing that. I am going to turn a bunch of quests in here. Maybe we'll get something good. Maybe not. The way my luck has been going, maybe not is the answer. I think I'm probably running out of inventory space. Yep, let me dump. I think I can dump those. I can dump those. I can dump that. I kind of want to keep some of this stuff in my inventory because I'm going to work on making a bunch more of those. I am going to throw... I don't need these guys right now. Or this stuff, for that matter. There. I also made the Fluix crystals. I think I already said that. I think I already made the Fluix crystals and the seeds for Fluix and Certus quartz. So we're automating that. And let's go ahead and open some of these and see if we get anything good. And I'm just going to go upstairs so I can dump these in the chest that's completely full. We're so close to having managed inventory. We have lithium dust. We have Rod of the Shifting Crust, which we also already have. We have more storage, which is always good. Those are really resource intensive, and since we are using applied energistics, these are just going to give us a good kickstart for our storage system. Industrial Craft 2 stuff, and punji sticks. Some of this stuff I already have over here, so I can just stack it in. Those, and what else did I get? These. Stick this stuff out of the way. I already have one of those somewhere, so I don't really care about it. Have a few more quests to do. Storage. We made all the processors, so we can claim that. And I did make the growth chamber, as I showed you, so we can claim that. More viaducts. I am going to have to do something with those. We have a bunch now. And some more food. The viaducts are in here, so I can just stack those in. I think we're getting pretty close to a wrapping up point. I do want to go look at how our mob farm is doing, because we did upgrade this to be using Cursed Earth, and it should be giving us a lot more loot bags. This has been running, I think, about an hour, maybe two, in the background, and you can see we had 2,200 loot bags. We have 12,000 loot bags now. So we can... This is set to legendary, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the switch. You can see that starts feeding legendary loot bags in there, and they start churning out their contents, and diamond armor is going to fill this up pretty quickly. So we're quickly reaching the point where we need to do a better job of dealing with the loot coming out of here, because not only is this filling up, if we go over and look at our storage system, between this segment and the last, I went ahead and cleared all the accumulated armor out of our storage drawer down here, or storage crate, because I wanted to see how much we were really getting. And again, it's been running probably about an hour. I put a trash can here just because I wanted some place to dump stuff. And as you can see, we're getting just a ton of armor and weapons and random odds and ends. You got a shovel in there. So we need to deal with this. Some of this stuff is items that I have actually thrown into the system, like the iron spikes and stuff. But we clearly need to deal with these items. And to do that, next time I'm going to make the slice and splice from Ender.io, which is going to let us make advanced and big item filters. So I can start filtering this stuff into the stuff we really don't care about into a trash can, just to get rid of it. Because we really don't care about some of these, we don't care about any of these armor bits. I'm wearing sort of cast off armor. Oh, I actually need a helmet, so I'll grab one. This is in pretty good shape. Yay, armor mismatch. I'm not really caring about that right now because we're not fighting much. But anyhow, so we need to deal with this next time. I think that's going to be a good project. And it should be pretty quick. I have some overflow stuff going in here that I need to deal with too, so I have a little cleanup to do between episodes. But I think that's a good wrapping up point. We got some AE2 stuff done today. I'm going to automate this, and this is definitely not a final resting place for this. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade these to the advanced inscriber from AE2 stuff and move them into a location where we can do some automation, probably back over there somewhere. And we're going to end up with 3 automation systems. We're going to have the inscribers, which are going to make all our processors. We're going to have the growth chamber, which is going to do our pure crystals for us. And we're going to have a third line, which is going to make... well, maybe we don't even need to do the Fluix seeds. You can make Fluix crystals by dropping, I believe it is nether quartz, redstone, and what is the third one? Now I have to look. Yeah. Charge soda squirts nether quartz and redstone dust into a puddle, and it creates flux crystals. We are sidestepping that because we have Fluix Essence being created by our Mystical Agriculture farm. So we don't need to worry about that part. I might do it just to show how to do it, but it's not going to be critical to our needs. So we're pretty close to getting Applied Energistics really up and running. I need to get this automation in place, and then we can start building a controller. We can start making some crafting units and some ME interfaces to run molecular assemblers and all that good stuff, so we have real automation. The last thing I want to check is how are we doing on our rice. I have been using more power recently, and I did go ahead and plant a third field of rice, and we are running positive on this. Not as positive as I would like. I'm surprised we're not getting more rice out of that. This is going to take 2 minutes, remember, because we do have that redstone clock timing out our harvest cycle. So I'm going to have to keep monitoring this and make sure we don't run out of power, because running out of power with an AE2 system basically means you can't access your items through it, which can be bad, even though we have storage drawers for ours. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to drop me a note, and I will see you next time. Thanks.